Hello, my name is Bill, and today I want to show you another easy but great recipe. I'm going to make this dish I love, like Marsala, like chicken Marsala, tenderloin Marsala, do all sorts of things. But I had this recipe, I think I read in a magazine, just kind of made it my own, which uses meatballs. And let me tell you, it tastes great. So first off, we're going to get started right into this. I've got about a tablespoon of butter in my pan here, get it nice and toasty hot. And all I'm going to do is I've got some mushrooms that I've quartered. Like I said, I usually say I like mushrooms quartered. I think they cook better. They give you, if you slice them, they kind of just dwindle into nothing. So it's just my preference. Alright, so I'm going to get these mushrooms in here. So it takes the longest part. Mushrooms are just these big sponges that absorb everything. So once again, don't wash them in water. You can wipe them with a brush. I have a little mushroom brush that someone gave me. It actually works well, but you could use a old toothbrush or a new toothbrush that hasn't been in your mouth yet. Do the same thing, just to get the dirt off. Mushrooms are usually grown underground to keep them away from any spores. In fact, when I lived in Pennsylvania, they grow them in the old coal mines. Alright, just want to let this get really, really hot and kind of let it be here for a minute. So this is getting nice and toasty, getting some of the fluid out of the mushrooms. So I have these meatballs here, and meatballs aren't hard to make. I'll tell you a funny story. I was planning on having a little cookout, friends coming over, and weather kind of turned at the last minute. We're going to have rain, so I was like, well, what can I make? So something that would be really easy to do. So I ran to my favorite meat market at Wassey's, and I grabbed some meatballs. They're not cooked, but all you do is 350 oven, flip them after 20 minutes, 20 more minutes, and they're done. I let them cool, put them in a bowl. They've been in the refrigerator. Now I just want to start getting things together for dinner. As you can hear, the mushrooms are getting all excited in here. Down. You can make this as fancy or as simple as you want. I'm kind of giving you the simplified version here because I really didn't have time to plan it all out. As soon as I get these mushrooms just a little more, off some of that liquid, start to shrink. Mushrooms are a funny thing, now with all these fancy options and shiitake and portobello mushrooms. I just think if I'm using mushrooms, I just like the earthiness, and there's something to do with the texture. Button mushrooms, white button mushrooms are fine for me. There are recipes I use other mushrooms in, but for most of them, this works just fine. Alright, so my mushrooms are definitely starting to sweat down a little bit. Ultimately, I want to get them nice and coated. Take a little time right now. Just trying to put a little pepper in here for flavor. I think just about every dish I make, I put some kind of pepper in it, ground pepper. smell that pepper. Okay. These are getting nice and soft. I got 2 garlic cloves I minced up real quick. Put some of that in there. Don't want to burn it, just want to get some flavor out of it. Just till I start to see the garlic turn, soften up a little bit, and move on to the next step. You can tell the mushrooms are now about half the size they were, so they've done what they're supposed to do. Smelling good. So now all I do, I've got a couple tablespoons of flour. I need to put this in here so I can start making my roux. About 2.5 tablespoons. Start with 2 here. And then we just want to cook it enough to get the raw flavor out of it. Now I've got flavor that I want to get incorporated. Got a cup of chicken stock. Now I can't see. Watch this get picking up here. Pretty quickly it starts to turn. This is kind of my gravy. I want to make sure I get the flour all mixed, because once I have the pot all full of stuff, it would be harder. So I'm just kind of letting it come to a boil, and then I add a little more. That come to a boil is going to break that flour down real well. And then we're going to let it simmer. So it'll be fine. Always got to keep some extra flour on the side, because I think I'm going to toss in just a hair more. Stir it in a little. There we go. That was literally a 1/4 teaspoon. Put this around. last of the cup stock in there. Back up to boil. Flour stuck on my wooden spatula. So got consistency, looks pretty good. I'll put my meatballs in so we can get them back to being heated up again. So all the flavors in these meatballs, I like them because I don't have to make them, but they've got just the right amount of flavor to them. Get these, start getting them heated up. Flipped over. So the last thing I'm going to do, and the reason why they call this Marsala, is I want to toss in some Marsala. I got a cup of Marsala, dry stuff. Mix this together. And that's going to really absorb into the meatballs. And that's where you're going to get a lot of good flavor from. Temperature. I'd gotten the stock and the Marsala wine out ahead of time, so it was closer to room temperature, because I try not to let it drop the temperature too much. So basically what we're doing now is we're waiting for this to heat the meatballs through and cook down a little bit. You see some nice little bubbles. When I buy Marsala, once again, it's just like putting wine and cooking. I don't buy the absolute cheapest stuff. It would not taste very good in here. Okay, it's just about done. Everything's heating up nicely. Meatballs are coming to life. The mushrooms are all happy and all that Marsala chicken stock. Just got little chunks of garlic being all incorporated in there. watch this cook for a minute, see where it goes. Turn down just a hair. Trying to cook out the Marsala, and it just smells really, really good. It's making me hungry. Should got a nice little boil going on here. Everything's looking great. Get this out of the way so you can see. Call that good. So now we just want to finish this off. Grab me some butter out of the fridge. Just need about half, 3/4 tablespoon. Turn it down just a little bit, don't need it that high. I'm getting some fat back in here. The meatballs don't have a lot of fat in them. Putting some fat of the butter back in is going to make my gravy, my sauce, just a little nicer. So when you make like chicken Marsala, that's kind of the last factor, and you don't realize, but once you get a little fat back in there, really thickens it up, makes it beautiful. Tossed in here. See how nice and velvety gravy looks now. Oh yeah, that looks really happy. So last but not least, just for a little flavor and color, went out and chopped up some Italian parsley. I'll throw it in here, just mix it in. I'm not a big fan of, people just put it on top of decoration. I want to actually taste it, so I do want to mix it in here. Just gonna add a little flavor, a little color. And you see how the consistency has really changed. Add a little bit of butter. Alright, so of course, what are we going to do to make this great? Let me show you. Everything's heated, everything's well incorporated. I like the consistency, I'm happy with the results. The meatballs are definitely heated through. So, I've microwaved some mashed potatoes. You might recognize these. Come from the store. In the refrigerator aisle. My store is like where I buy the cheeses. So all I do is I want to get a nice little pile of mashed potatoes. I think mashed potatoes work really well for this because it's going to utilize a lot of that flavor. Turn this off because that's definitely hot. How should I plate this up? Plop a meatball right there. Meatball right there. So now you can see that something this simple, how good it looks, how great it's going to taste. I wouldn't do anything else to it. I think it's fun to use these bowls to hold everything, and they're cool to eat out of. I use them all the time. Holds that gravy right there, but yet they're big enough, they're open enough that know, you can get your whole face in there, but I think this looks really, really good. It's cool enough now. Sauce tastes excellent. You can really get that velvetyness of putting that butter at the last minute, and it's really easy to make. I mean, I did the whole thing in just a few minutes. Can't beat it. I hope you subscribe. I hope you comment. Try it out. I know you've probably seen this recipe floating around, but I like my version better. So please give it a try and let me know. Have a great day.